ओमज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुः श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवंश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथन्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमां विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। Hare Krishna. So today we are going to study the next section of chapter 15, that is 12 to 15. These few verses. Here we see that from the very beginning of this chapter, what we have learned that the detachment is the key to get liberated from this world, and how to attain it, that Bhagavan explained. Asanga Shastrena. By the sword of detachment, we have to attain it. This liberation or this Paramdhama. And then we have also learned about the transmigration. And that is the reason of this bondage, and the swarupa of jivas, that is the actual nature of the soul. That also we have learned. So the eligibility criteria to get the visa to the eternal abode. So all these things, nirmana moha jita sanga dosha adhyatma nitya vinivritta kamaha, द्वन्द्वैर्विमुक्तः सुखदुःखसङ्गे गच्छन्ति amodhaः padam avyayam tat. So the eligibility, everything Bhagavan talked about. Actually, so about the surrender, he told about in the third and fourth verses, that is Tameva Chadyam Purusham Prapatye. So that is surrender to the Supreme Person, who is the beginning of everything. And now here in this section, from 12 to 15, Bhagavan opens up with a new, relatively new, because Bhagavan has been telling this for the last few chapters in many places. And all these things, that is, even Pravishtumcha, that is, after attaining him, uh, how to get into him, that is, how to get into his abode, everything he described. And now, here in this section, Bhagavan will reveal his Swarupa even more elaborately. He had already discussed, but now he is going to explain it even more elaborately. Because we see the person in whose home we are going to enter, he must open the door for us. Otherwise, we can't enter. So Bhagavan is going to do that here in this section. That is, he is opening the door completely. So here Bhagavan says, let us chant this verse. Yadadithyagatam tejo jagadbhasayate yatchandramasi yatchagnam tattejo vidhi mamakam. So here we will see. Here we will see that Bhagavan will describe how he is the maintainer of everything in this material creation. Okay, so synonyms. Yat, that which, adityagatam, in the sunshine, tejaha, splendor, jagat, the whole world, bhasayate, illuminates, akhilam, entirely, yat, that which, chandramasi, in the moon, yat, that which, cha, also, agnau, in fire, tat, that, tejaha, splendor, vidhi, understand, mamakam, from me. Translation. Sorry, there is a disturbance. Okay. The splendor of the sun, which dissipates the darkness of this whole world, comes from me. And the splendor of the moon and the splendor of fire are also from me. So we see that we usually, by our normal intelligence, cannot understand how these things are taking place. But when we are perfectly settled in knowledge, then we can understand all these things clearly, as Bhagavan explains here. So we can see the sun, the moon, electricity, everything But to understand the splendor of sun and moon and electricity or the fire, that is Yacha Agnav, Yacha Agnav. So they are all coming from the Lord. So by understanding this, we get the conception of our true life. That is, we are perfectly situated in Krishna consciousness. As Bhagavan already said, Mame Vamsho Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatanaha. So the living entities, that is, we, are essentially the particles, parts and particles of the Supreme Lord. And in this whole scripture, especially here, he is giving us the complete manual of how to come back to him, how to go back to him. So from this verse, we understand that the sun is illuminating this whole solar system. So, and we know that there are different solar systems, different universes. And there are different suns, moons, etc., different planets. And in each universe, there is one sun, only one. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, Nakshatranam aham shashi. That is, moon is one of the stars. That is because it is the most popular nakshatra. So it's me, sunlight. It is said that sunlight is due to the spiritual effulgence in the spiritual sky of the Supreme Lord. So if one understands that the light and splendor of sun and moon and fire, they are all emanating from the Supreme Lord, then one's perfect consciousness, that is spiritual consciousness or Krishna consciousness, begins. So we see that okay, let me read the next verse also. Then it will be easier for us to understand even. गामाविश्य च भूतानि धारयाम्यहमोजसा उष्णामि चौषधिः सर्वः सोमो भूत्वा रसात्मकः. Gam, the planets, avishya, entering, cha, also, bhutani, the living entities, dharayami, sustain, aham, I, ojasa, by my energy, pushnami, am nourishing, cha, and aushadhihi, vegetables, sarvaha, all, somaha, the moon, bhutva, becoming, Rasa Atmakaha, supplying the juice. Translation. I enter into each planet, and by my energy, they stay in orbit. I become the moon and thereby supply the juice of life to all vegetables. So, let me read a portion of the purport. It is understood that all the planets are floating in the air only by the energy of the Lord. The Lord enters into each atom, every planet, and every living being. That is discussed in the Brahma Samhita. It is said there that one plenary portion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Paramatma enters into the planets, the universe, the living entity, and even into the atom. So, due to his entrance, everything is appropriately manifested. When the spirit soul is there, a living man can float on the water. But when the living spark is out of the body and the body is dead, the body sinks. Of course, when it is decomposed, it floats just like straw and other things. But as soon as the man is dead, he at once sinks in the water. Similarly, all these planets are floating in the space, and this is due to the entrance of the supreme energy of the supreme personality of Godhead. His energy is sustaining each planet just like a handful of dust. If someone holds a handful of dust, there is no possibility of the dust falling. But if one throws it in the air, it will fall down. Similarly, these planets which are floating in the air are actually held in the fist of the universal form of the Supreme Lord. By his strength and energy, all moving and non-moving things stay in their place. It is said in the Vedic hymns that because of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the sun is shining, the planets are steadily moving. Were it not for him, all the planets would scatter, just like dust in air, and perish. Similarly, it is due to the Supreme Personality of Godhead that the moon nourishes all vegetables. Due to the moon's influence, the vegetables become delicious. Without the moonshine, the vegetables can neither grow nor taste succulent. Human society is working, living comfortably, and enjoying food due to this supply from the Supreme Lord. Otherwise, mankind could not survive. The word rasatmakaha is very significant. Everything becomes palatable by the agency of the Supreme Lord through the influence of the moon. So, as a living entity with intelligence, we can easily understand the necessity of the presence of sun and moon for us to live in this universe. So now Bhagavan is saying that I am the source of all. That is, the effulgence of sun, moon, fire, everything is me. And he says here that I enter into each planet. By my energy, they stay in orbit. So it is due to my presence, everything is working in perfect order. And without the calming effect of the moonshine, the vegetables and the medicinal herbs cannot grow. The juice that is there, which uh, gives the taste of any food, that actually emanates from the Lord. So we see it is actually the introduction that Bhagavan, which Bhagavan is going to reveal from verse 16. That is Dvavimau Purushau Loke Ksharaschakshara Evacha. So when I will discuss that section, then I have to come from these verses only. We'll have to take reference. But it will be difficult for us to continue till the end because from 16 to 20 we have to discuss. The last two verses are conclusion, 19 and 20. But 16, 17 and 18 these three verses are actually the essence of Vedanta Sutras. So, it's little difficult to cover today. Anyway, I'm trying. So then Bhagavan says that in the next verse, today my internet is also not working properly. It was disturbing for last few minutes. Okay. अहं वैश्वानरो भूत्वा प्राणिनां देहमास्थितः sorry अहं वैश्वानरो भूत्वा प्राणिनां देहमाश्रितः प्राणापानसमायुक्तः पचाम्यन्नं चतुर्विधम्. Synonyms: aham, I; vaishvanaraha, my plenary portion as the digesting fire; bhutva, becoming; praninam, of all living entities; deham, in the bodies; ashritaha, situated; prana, the outgoing air; apana, the downgoing air; samayuktaha, keeping in balance; pachami, I digest; annam, foodstuff; chatuhvidham, the four kinds. Translation: I am the fire of digestion in the bodies of all living entities, and I join with the air of life, outgoing and incoming, to digest the four kinds of foodstuff. So, all the basic requirements that is needed to keep our life in motion, they all come from the Supreme Lord. As Bhagavan said, that sunshine, there, the, that is the splendor, the effulgence of both sun and of moon, and also the nourishment that we get from the moon and also from the sun. Bhagavan is the source of everything. And now he is saying that not only that, it is about the universal concept. Now come to the personal concept of life. In your body, there is a requirement of fire to digest whatever food you eat. And I, as Vaishvanara, am residing in your belly to digest the foodstuffs. Digest the foodstuffs. So, there are four kinds of foodstuffs that we generally take. That is, some are drunk, that is peya. Some are chewed, that is charvya. Some are licked up, that is lehya. And some are sucked, that is choshya. So, he is the digestive force for all these four kinds of foodstuffs. Now, we see, according to Ayurvedic Shastra, We understand that there is a fire in the stomach which digests all food sent there. When the fire is not blazing, there is no hunger. And we see when this is not functioning properly, this Vaishvanara, then our digestive system is uh, becomes very poor and we cannot digest the food, and our entire balance, the internal balance, is disturbed. Vedic mantras, Brihadaranyaka Upanishad 5.9.1, also confirm that the Supreme Lord or Brahman is situated in the form of fire within the stomach and is digesting all kinds of foodstuff. Ayam Agnir Vaishvanaro Yoyam Antaha Purushe Yenedam Annam Pachyate. Therefore, since he is helping the digestion of all kinds of foodstuff, the living entity is not independent in the eating process. So, if we say that it is our choice that we are going to eat this or that, but maybe the external process is in our control, that whatever we feel like we can eat. But then the digestion, whether it will take place properly or not, there is no control. We have no control on that. It is only controlled by the Lord as Vaishvanara. So we see how beautiful it is. And therefore, since he is helping the digestion of all kinds of foodstuff, the living entity is not independent in the eating process. Unless the Supreme Lord helps him in digesting, there is no possibility of eating. He thus produces and digests foodstuff, and by his grace, we are enjoying life. So externally also, if he does not nourish the vegetables as moonshine, we will not get the foodstuff externally. If he does not help us digesting the foodstuff within our belly, we can't eat anymore, because if the digestive system collapses, then there is no possibility of eating in future. And in fact, the whole body will stop working and ultimately we will perish. So, how beautiful it is. So, in these three verses, we see actually Bhagavan presenting his position as the maintainer of this creation. As we say, Vishwapalaka. So here he reveals that quality as a maintainer. So fire, any kind of fire, whether it comes from sun, moon, or any other source, Bhagavan is the source of that. So that is in the universal concept, as we just said, and in the personal concept also. In our body, he is present as the fire, the source of fire. So the pranic energy, it is so much interrelated with the digestive system. As Bhagavan says here, that prana pana samayuktaha pachami annam chaturvidham. So I join with the life air, prana, apana. As we know, there are 5 basic pranas, air, that is there within our body. Prana, that is the outgoing, and Apana is the incoming, which moves downwards. And then Udana, that is that goes towards our kantha and throat. So, and the other two, that is Vyana and Samana, that is distributed throughout our body. So they are the five basic air, Panchavayu as it is said. So Bhagavan is controlling everything as Vaishvanara. He is using that air, that also he himself, and helping us in the digestion of food. We see this, why Bhagavan is saying this, because we know without food we cannot survive. And see, we say that our in our personal context, our father is our maintainer because he arranges the food for us. So that is why he is the palaka of this family. And here we see that Bhagavan is the palaka of this whole creation because he is arranging the food for all. And not only that, he is helping in the digestion also. That is, to maintain this body, we need both food and to digest the food. So the chain will go on and on. The cycle, the process of this eating and clearing, eating and clearing. So through this digestive system, the process of digestion. Okay, so we see Bhagavan says in this particular verse, this is the most beautiful verse. Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishto matta smritirjnanamapohanam cha vedishcha sarvairahameva vidyo vedanta kritveda videva chaham. Synonyms: Sarvasya, of all living beings, cha, aham, and aham, I, hridi, in the heart, sannivishtaha, sannivishtaha, situated, mattaha, from me, smritihi, remembrance, jnanam, knowledge, apohanam, forgetfulness, cha, and vedaihi, by the Vedas, cha, also, sarvaihi, all, aham, I am, eva, certainly, vidyaha, knowable, vedantakrit, the compiler of the Vedanta, vedavid, the knower of the Vedas, eva, certainly, cha, aham, and aham, I. So translation: I am seated in everyone's heart. And from me come remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. By all the Vedas, I am to be known. Indeed, I am the compiler of Vedanta, and I am the knower of the Vedas. So, we see Bhagavan is present as Paramatma in each and every atom and in each and every living entity, which means automatically. So he says that I am seated in everyone's heart. Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishtaha. And from me come remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. Mattha smritihi jnanam apohanam cha. So we see that yes, Bhagavan says here that from me remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness, everything come. So we see how he is the witness of all our thoughts and actions. He is seated in our heart. And when we come to this world in a new body, we forget everything about our past life. And that forgetfulness comes from him. Whenever there is a requirement of smriti, that is ante narayana smriti, that also inspired by him. Knowledge. If we can get the knowledge from this scripture, Bhagavad Gita, what he is saying, if we can understand, that is also his blessings. So everything comes from him. So here, as we already know that from 7th chapter we are studying how he is the essence of everything. Here also, once more, before concluding, he is saying this, that see, O Jiva, I am sitting in your heart. So don't be proud of anything, because the knowledge that you have, if you have something, if you can remember the things which is worthy of remembering, and if you have forgotten everything about your past life, which is helping you to grow in this life, everything is happening due to my presence in your heart. So if you think you are in charge of your life, we can understand from this that how far we can take charge of our own life. And then he says, by all the Vedas, I am to be known. Vedeshcha sarvair ahameva vidyaha. Vedanta Krit, I am the compiler of Vedas. Vedavid, that is, I am the knower of the Vedas. Eva Chaham. So we see the next part, actually, I wanted to continue because there is a connection between these three verses. That is when Bhagavan speaks about his position as a maintainer And then as he progresses to conclude the the essence of Vedanta Sutras, we see, okay, let's start. It is going to be a little long. But still we need to. If required, then we can have a recap in our next class also. Or we can repeat rather. Okay. Dvavimau purushau loke क्षरश्चाक्षर एव च क्षरः सर्वाणि भूतानि कूटस्थोऽक्षर उच्यते. Synonyms. Dvau, two. Imau, these. Purushau, living entities. Loke, in the world. Ksharaha, fallible. Cha, and. Aksharaha, infallible. Eva, certainly. Cha, and. Ksharaha, fallible. Sarvani, all. Bhutani, living entities. Kutasthaha, in oneness. Aksharaha, infallible. Uchyate is said. Translation. There are two classes of beings, the fallible and the infallible. In the material world, every living entity is fallible, and in the spiritual world, every living entity is called infallible. So we see that Kshara and Akshara. So Kshara literally means fallible. So we see that in this material world, in this changing material world, eternally changing material world, that is Nitya, but changing. In this eternally changing material world, Bhagavan is present or pervaded in everything. Okay, that is the proof of his all-pervasiveness. So that is the Kshara. Kshara Purusha. Or we see that when he is, his present is there as or in the unchangeable eternal entities, or we can say that is the the reason of all unchangeable eternal existence. It is his Brahma Swarupa, that is the Akshara Purusha. So, as it is mentioned in Shruti, that is Dva Suparna Sayuja Sakhaya Samanam Vriksham Parishasvajate. So, the two birds in the same tree. So, Bhagavan has already talked about this Kshara Purusha several times. As I just mentioned, that as he said that the effulgence or the splendor of sun and moon and fire, which is manifested, that is my effulgence. So I am actually maintaining this whole creation. Rasatmakaha, Soma, as Bhagavan says here, Somo Bhutva Rasatmakaha. So as the Rasatmaka Soma, I am giving nourishment to all the vegetables, creepers. So, and I am also present within the bodies of the jivas. And without my help, they cannot digest the food they take. So we see the cause of manifestation of this creation and the maintainer. And I am actually working as the maintainer and protector of this whole creation. I'm working continuously in this position. So now Bhagavan says about the Akshara Purusha. There, this verse, that is verse 15, as he is saying that Sarvasya Chaham Hridi Sannivishtam. It is actually about the Akshara Purusha. That is, I am the consciousness, Atma Chaitanya, Akshara Purusha, Sarvasya Chaham Hridi Sannivishtam. So that Kutastha. So see, in 8th chapter also, we have already learned that Aksharam Brahma Paramam. 8.3. So this Swarupa, that is Akshara, is unchangeable. And it is beyond the range of this living entity, that is soul, Jiva, and Jagata, that is the created and creation, the whole creation, including the Jivas. So in 11th chapter also Bhagavan said in 11.18, that is Tvamaksharam Paramam Vedidavyam. There also he talks about Aksharam. In 11.37 also he talks about Aksharam. Tvamaksharam Sadasat Tat Param Yat. And in 12th chapter, Bhagavan says, 12.3, Ye Tvaksharam Anirdeshyam Avyaktam Pariupasate Sarvatra Agama Achintyam Cha Kutastham Achalam Dhruvam. So this Akshara Purusha, he is Avyakta, unmanifest, Sarva Vyapi, all pervading, Achintya, inconceivable, eternal. So we see in the Vedas, the glorification is about this Akshara Brahma, this Akshara Brahma Swarupa. And the Veda describes all these things which help to know this Akshara Purusha. So that is why Bhagavan says that Vedeshcha sarver ahameva vidyaha. So we see that Brahma Purusha, the Akshara Purusha, Kutastha. So that is another name of this Brahma Purusha. So he says that he is Veda. And Veda, see, Veda knows him and he knows Veda. He is a knowable through the Vedas. And he is also Vedavid. That is the mystery portion of Vedas, as we know, is the Upanishads. That is called as Vedanta. So that which is the root of this mystery part of Vedas, that is the Upanishad, is also this Akshara Brahma. And that is why he is Vedanta Krit. He is Vedanta Krit. So he is the knowable through the Upanishads. So this Akshara Brahma is Ananta. He is Anadi. And he is unchangeable. So we see that there are few things in this world that is some are changeable and some are unchangeable. So as Bhagavan says, Adhibhutah Ksharo Bhavah. Adhibhutam Ksharo Bhavah in 8.4. So the root of all changeable things, that is he, as Kshara Purusha. The unchangeable eternal things, that is the jivas. The root of that is the root of Atma is what? Paramatma. So Aparinami, that is Nitya, he is the cause of that also. And that is Akshara Purusha. So both are called as Purusha. Purusha means who is lying in the Puri. That is this Sharira, which means actually underlying reality. Underlying reality. We can see this body from outside, but we don't know the reality. The Purusha is the reality. So we see the underlying truth of multiplicity. So as it is manifested in multiple forms, this Jagat. So the underlying truth of multiplicity, it is the Kshara Bhava or the Kshara Purusha. And the underlying truth of unity is Akshara Purusha. That is the one. As it is said, Kutastha, in oneness. So that one reality, the underlying truth of unity, it is the Akshara Purusha. So Kshara is the cause of all motion, we can say. It is behind all the motion. And the sthiti, as we say, it is due to Akshara Purusha. See, the Atma does not move. So it is, beyond this is the Akshara Purusha. Behind this is the Akshara Purusha. So see this movement and moving and non-moving, this whole process as it is going on, that is the Jada and Chaitanya, as we say. So Jada and Chaitanya, the play of Jada and Chaitanya, we can say, that we can see in this world. So we see, as the great scientist Einstein said, that I don't find anything as Jada, because when the consciousness is still, then it is then the manifestation is called the Jada. that is, the motion is stopped. So actually, there is no jada. If we really think about it, anyway, I will not go much into it. It's okay. Uh, in the Shruti, we can see that uh, there is a verse in Shvetara Upanishad. It is said, Jnanyau dvau ishavaneshau. That is Jna and Agnya. These are the two Purushaha. As it is said, Kshara Purushaha, Akshara Purushaha. So there it is said that Jna and Agnya, two Purusha. So one is Isha and one is Anisha. So Agnya and Anisha, this is the tattva for Kshara Purushaha. And Jna and Isha is the tattva for Akshara Purushaha. That is Isha. Who is Isha is the Akshara Purushaha. Jna, who is the source of all knowledge, is Akshara Purushaha. Who is knowable is Akshara Purushaha. Who is the knower of everything is the Akshara Purushaha. So in the Jada existence, that what we call as Jada Jagata. So all the actions, that is the action of sun, moon, fire, earth and all other planets, the medicinal herbs, the other herbs, and Jatara, this is the Vaishvanara, that is, so all of this, that is the Kriya Shakti, the underlying Kriya Shakti, it is the action of the Kshara Purushaha. So, which means that Kshara Purushaha is full of the five tanmatras, Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. Whereas we see Akshara Purushaha, it is Nirakara, it is Arupa, it is Avyaya. So, as it is said that here in this 15th verse, that is Vedishcha sarver ahameva vidyo vedantakrit veda vedeva chaham. So I am the compiler of Vedanta. I am the knower of Vedas. I am the knowable. So this is why how beautifully Bhagavan says here that Ksharas sarvani bhutani kutastokshara uchate. So dvavima purushau loke kshara cha aksharaha eva cha. So as if it is something like kshara and akshara. It's like akshara is the shadaj. Sa, it's like this. And kshara is a murchana of Sangeet. So this is very beautiful. So I'm sorry to stop here because 16 to 20 is a section, but I actually find this whole section is one section, that is from 12 to 18 is a complete section. Actually, I feel that it is difficult to stop here because it is continuing. So we will continue in our next class because we are running out of time now. And the last two verses also, that is the concluding verses 19 and 20, we already discussed in our introduction class about the last verse, but still we have to move in the direction as Bhagavan is directing us. So the next few verses, the remaining verses, 17, 18, 19, 20, these four verses, we will study in our next class. As today we have studied 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, these five verses. So sorry to stop here again. वंशकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. Thank you all for joining.